Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or the guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Dawn Melanie. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of Managing Self, where I share with you, the listeners, my personal stories of how I manage myself, my multiple sclerosis. Not only how I've managed myself while dealing with multiple sclerosis for the past 2 decades, but how I fervently continue to do so every day. Now, like snowflakes, no two of us have the same MS, and my MS journey is not exactly like yours. Not exactly. But I'm sure you can relate to some, if not a lot, of what I discuss. Why do I say this? I say this because, without a doubt, at some point in time, we have all been faced with MS struggles. But most importantly, me and all of my all of my fellow MS warriors, we all have the ability to get up one more time, then we've been knocked down. And yes, I do mean that literally. I mean it figuratively, and unfortunately, I do mean that literally. So, while some of you may call multiple sclerosis the MS monster, myself, being a self-proclaimed mature adult, that's why you know that I don't believe in monsters. So, it's kind of hard for me to be afraid of what I think is simply a mere figment of some folks' imagination. You know, the MS monster, really. I don't believe it's real. I don't believe in monsters. I don't. But, even though I'm telling you that I don't fear the MS monster, the MS thief, that's a different villain. That's another story. I mean, I'll ask you to understand from where I'm coming, like when I say the MS thief. 20 years ago, about 6 months, 20 years ago, which was actually 6 months before my official MS diagnosis, these words exited my mouth. I said, I don't know what's happening to me, but I do know it has stolen my autonomy. My autonomy. See, back then, and several times in the following 19 and a half years, MS has like been a thief as far as I'm concerned. 10 years ago, my MS, it left me blind. With the past 19 and a half years, my MS has left me half deaf on at least three, perhaps 4 occasions. Let's see, my MS, it acted up so badly that I couldn't drive at times, that I couldn't walk, and I still can't run, because of my MS. Like I said, my MS is different than your MS, but I bet you can relate to a lot of what I have to say. So before I continue, let me clarify, or let me emphasize one thing only. Despite my struggles, not doing struggles. Despite all of my MS-induced calamities, including blindness, deafness, drop foot, et cetera, I maintain my unwavering focus, and that is to manage myself. Manage myself. When one talks about finances, I'll bet you money that they're going to soon talk about budgeting. The discussion of managing cash flows, their personal cash flows, their ins and outs, the income they make, the expenses that they incur, the debits and credits, how things kind of line up. And I know this because it's pretty simple. They're going to talk about this because just like our finances, we don't have unlimited resources. I know I don't. Just with our health, it's funny because like my health insurance premiums continue to increase seemingly exponentially. I got a letter of an increase just last week. They're increasing exponentially, while my cost of living, well, that increase is pretty much, I'd say, the victim of linear decay. Nonetheless, back to my focus. Despite the present nationwide economic tomfoolery, I'll call it, particularly regarding health insurance coverages, premiums, etc., I focus on the positive, and I look at my glass as half full, always. Why? Because I can. It's a choice. And because I have been wise enough to be my own best health advocate, living by principles that represent my personal dogma to this day. And yeah, I did say dogma. Dogma is let's see, something held something held as an established opinion, especially by a definitive authoritative tenet. Authoritative tenet. That's me. I'm an MSer. Yeah, I consider myself an MSer tenet of 20 years and counting. My MS, pardon me, my tenets for managing MS, or shall I say, the elements that I employ to foster good health while dealing with MS include fitness, food, family, friends, and faith. And it's my opinion that a solid, healthy incorporation of each of these elements into my daily life, I believe that's led me to be and to maintain a stress-less existence, or shall I say, to have and maintain a stress-less existence. As always, I say stress less, not stress free, because I don't believe one can be stress free with multiple sclerosis. At least I haven't been stress free with multiple sclerosis. Pretty close, but 100% stress free, not. For me, MS pretty much has wreaked havoc when I least suspected. Like when I guess one of the worst times I think is when I couldn't move the entire right side of my body, and I was actually on competition stage, a bodybuilding figure competition with heels on and a bikini, and I couldn't move the right side of my body. It was very daunting. That's MS, but the predictability of when MS will rear its ugly head, that's as accurate as the local meteorologist, trying to give a report of an entire hurricane season's forecast. If he delivers it on Valentine's Day, he's like, yeah, I'm going to be sweet and give you guys the upcoming hurricane season, all the hurricanes and, what categories are going to be, how strong, and where they're going to hit it directly. If he does that on Valentine's Day, really? He's going to be sweet, so he's going to give us a Valentine's present. Well, bless his heart, but I don't think that's worth well, you know what I mean. I don't think it's worth very much, because that's going to change. Hurricane season, or pardon me, I know, being from New Orleans and having parents who were in the storm, that is Hurricane Katrina, and others as well. I know how hurricanes are. So my point is, MS and this predictability, when it'll hit or wreak the havoc, it's very unpredictable. I strongly dislike, or let's say detest, the fact that oftentimes MS is so damn stubbornly unpredictable, seizing the opportunity to just kind of like wreck your life. It has mine. It's like at its own free will, it does this. So like today, as I'm recording this, or for this episode here, today I broke up my routine, and it was kind of cool because I did something in hopes to counter some of the potential negativity that MS continues to kind of build up against me. I'm fully aware that even though I had not too stressful day yesterday and had pretty good night's sleep, really sound, restful sleep, I got proof. My watch told me, and I know I was rested. I'm good to go, but I know that I was already in the line of fire. I mean, literally, every step I take with MS, I'm in sync with the radar. Imagine like a radar on a gun. That's MS. And it seems like I'm always in line, ready to be hit by a bullet. Perhaps. I mean, I'm always a target. Now, whether MS pulls the trigger and I get a bullet, I don't know. But that's how kind of like in my my exacerbations. Like I said, I'm always in the line of MS's potential fire. And, I'll say sometimes I liken it to being in sync. Me and MS are in sync, like I was in sync with my date freshman year at the homecoming dance. I was 13 going on 14, and he was 12 going on 27. You get my picture? Anyway, I stepped on some toes then. I mean, literally, I stepped on some toes. Yes, Mama, you heard it. I stepped on his toes. Don't worry. Purposely. And today, I set out to do the same thing to MS, to step on his toes. you know, like, fine, enter my personal space. Go on. Go on. If you want to do that, fine. But, when you enter my no friend zone, the war zone, be prepared, because I know I am. So instead of reacting to every irrational move of MS, today I said to myself, let's play. Yeah, let's play MS. So MS is always like, it seems MS always moves first. Well, regarding me, MS has moved first in the past almost 20 years. So I was like, okay, MS always moves. MS makes a move. I react, cause and effect, or, I just always react. I never make the first move, but I was like, this is kind of like a game of chess. And okay, it's pretty obvious that I had the black pieces in this chess game. I was like, okay, seriously? So today I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. So unlike the first move of every officially played game of chess, today I took the first move. I said, I bet you didn't see that coming, huh, MS? I bet you didn't see that coming. I'm going to make a first move. Yeah, I'm going to do something and you react. So today I went to the movies in the afternoon on a Wednesday by myself. I knew it wouldn't be the same old day where, I usually wake up a little bit later, probably after 10:30 or so. But today I woke up a little earlier, about 9 o'clock. And like I said, that's early for me as far as I'm concerned, because, I only got little over 8.5 hours of sleep. Not quite 9, but I was rested enough. And I'm pretty certain my definition of rested enough. My body, I look at it as my body's battery being charged enough to get me out of bed, to start a day, brush my teeth, etc., getting dressed, basically all the things that people take for granted. But now, like most times when I wake up, I'm fully charged. I mean, fully charged. So charged that I can hardly contain myself. Well, I'm moving at probably 100 miles an hour, literally, which is probably why I drop stuff, knock stuff over also. But it's weird. I have all this energy in the morning, and sometimes it's hard for me to concentrate, or maybe that's not the proper term, but it's hard to focus on just one task, at a time. It's not like I have cog fog, because actually for the first couple hours after waking, my brain is, my mental acumen is fierce. My memory is super, and I'm sharp. But so it's the opposite of cog fog. So it's kind of like being it's the exact hyper direct opposite of cog fog. So I'm kind of going really fast, things like that. And I realized that, before I even got my glass of water, which I do every morning, to take my medicine, my anti-fatigue pill, and my vitamin D, just 1,000 IU. I walked into the kitchen and my brain, it shifted gears on me. I was like, wait a minute, it went from first to third, kind of like as if I don't drive a vehicle with a manual, or manual transmission, but I do know that you can't just go from first to third without properly using the clutch, which of course I can't do because, well, that requires too much coordination with my hands and feet. Anyway, I passed the kitchen cabinet, and I head to the garage, and I was like, please have my blood work. Well, not the blood work, but the orders for the blood work to be done at the lab. I was like, please be here somewhere, because what happened was Monday, I had my 6-month follow-up with my neurologist. And I was reminded that I had to repeat the JC virus test because my last results were indeterminate. Not negative, not positive, but indeterminate. Okay, sounds like the story of my life with MS, indeterminate. And I'm thinking, I'm like, I can recall like the battery of tests and procedures, established. But before I got diagnosed, I remember going through all these tests and procedures. But 6 months, within that 6 months, I had to endure a second round of them. all the tests. I mean, another MRI, another spinal tap, another evoke study, et cetera. Because just like my JC virus test, nothing led to a definite end or result. Yeah, I was frustrated then. I was frustrated now, and I need the orders so that I can go to the lab to get the blood work drawn. Anyway, frustration. That's an understatement. How I was feeling back then, and kind of how I was starting to feel, today. I was like, seriously, but I won't go on with the frustration. Like I said, I try to stay positive. Okay, so I was positive I'd find it. Well, I was hoping I found it, and I did find it, so that's a good thing. Um, and I was like, I was literally still in my pajamas. I just went out to the garage, and went back inside. And I looked at the show times of movies playing, and the only thing I was interested in was South Pacific, and the musical, and it was only showing today only at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. So I was like, maybe I should do this. And it was funny. I was talking to my nephew, who's been visiting us here. My husband and I, and also my parents here in Texas. 25-year-old man, 25-year-old young man, shall I say? He's been interviewing and solidifying making a life-changing decision. That is to leave home, yes, his mom's crib, as he calls it, and pursue his newly found passion of fitness, which is something that I introduced him to. I mean, I got him. Well, he asked my advice, and I gave it to him, and he listened. And it's been very rewarding for him, and also for me to see that I've been able to help him go into the right direction or a positive direction. Because in less than a year, he lost more fat than I even weigh, than my entire body weighs. Over 140 pounds, and it was a really positive, beautiful dialogue of positivity and encouragement and determination between between us. Awesome. He thanked me he said, thank you and Uncle Jeff, my husband, for your advice and your help with the interviews that he had. And he asked me for he thanked me. He thanked me, like, for stuff that I didn't think was a big deal, but it was rewarding, and all the positive dialogue was just, I know, it's priceless. And I say priceless because looking at him, he's 20 years, 2 decades, actually. I guess he was born by the time at my MS onset. Anyway, our childhoods were quite different, and it's funny because it was he that was aspiring to get on my level. Oftentimes he said, Auntie Dawn, it's levels. I'm trying to get on your level. I was like, huh? I was like, okay. He lived this tough life, but he wanted more for himself. He wanted more in the future. And I was like, okay, this is great. This is a young man who wants to do better, which I'm all about, because I want to do better. I have MS, so what? But I want tomorrow to be better than today. And, that's what I strive for. Anyway, I was looking up the movie times. He said, go ahead and do it. You gotta do it now. I say, huh? He goes, why wait? Why are you waiting to go see if you want to go see it? I was like, yeah, you're right. So, he said, start now. That's what you said you wanted to do. Don't wait to go see the movies. If you want to go see them, go see them now. But you said you're free in the afternoons. I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, okay, he's here. Here he is. It was funny, like the teacher or the student teaching the teacher. This is what I was experiencing with him reminding me to soak up, or take advantage of any opportunities that I have to do what I want and live, happier. Like I said, the sweet life. I was like, yeah, I got you. He reminded me, unfortunately, he said, you'll never be this young again. I said, wait. Okay. All right. This is really surreal because now the student really is teaching the teacher. But he was absolutely right. I'll never be this young again. It's funny because last week I ended the show with a reference of why wait to die? Why wait? Why not try to fill that dash in between from when you were born to when you die? Make that, fill that with some good stuff. Just why, just because we have problems, why sit and wait and do nothing? But why wait to die? So here he is reminding me, like I said, 20 years my junior. Here he's reminding me, why wait to enjoy life? Exactly. So the student was teaching the teacher. But what I took from that dialogue between us is what I think mattered most. And that's that I listened. I realized that, no matter the number of falls or bumpy detours MS has routed me on, I'm still in the game. As my nephew said, I'm a player in this game of life. I was like, you're right, I'm a player. And actually, he offered a consoling, Auntie Dawn, even players mess up sometimes. I said, okay. Yeah, I agreed. And then I went on. And I said, you know what? I'll take it one step further, young man. I'll put this short and sweet. The only failure is quitting. And he goes, right. So, like I said, it was dialogue, the young and the old. I'm going to call myself the old. But he's right, we're still players in the game of life, no matter where we are or what position of the chessboard we're on. We're still players here, and just like I told him, we haven't lost, we haven't failed at anything unless we quit, and that I'm not trying to do. So I encourage you all. I always encourage you all to just don't quit, don't give up. So like I said, just little stuff that happened to me earlier today. Nope, I'm not getting any younger. That's for sure. In fact, today I'm 45.78 years old. Tomorrow I'll be a little bit older. Not getting any younger. Coming up to 46. I want to say slowly, but I'm approaching 46 pretty rapidly now, it seems. 46. Dawn Night's going to be 46 soon. Anyway, I never thought I'd say those words. 46, me, 46, seriously. Anyway, I talked to my husband earlier tonight, and I told him I was reading some stuff, and didn't realize that Beethoven was, Beethoven actually was completely deaf at age 46. I said, man, I'm coming up on 46. My husband's like, well, I don't want you to get the deafness or I was like, huh? I was like, well, okay, whatever, dude. I was telling this because I wasn't saying I'm fearing being completely deaf at 46, but I just thought it was kind of interesting that there's a parallelism that Beethoven started losing his hearing at age 26, and they progressed. Less and less hearing he had. I think at age 31 or so, he was like over 50% deaf, and at 46, he was completely deaf. But it wasn't until after he had lost all of his hearing that he composed some of his greatest pieces of music of all times. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. I was like, okay, no, honey, I hope I don't get the deafness all the way either. I've had a little bit, but my point is that here's Beethoven. He is completely deaf. He went on to be even greater than he was before he lost his hearing. He actually, his compositions just flourished. Classics. Literally classics. He like I said, only failure is quitting, and that's some kind of example of someone not quitting and becoming even better, despite their challenges. So I thought it was kind of ironic that I went to the movie to see South Pacific today. I rarely go to see a movie in the middle of the week, but I went to see a movie where hard decisions had to be made by each of the characters, and I noted that when the decisions were made, it was stress relieving to each of the characters. I think it was ironic because I look at my situation of how I manage my MS, and I'm like, one of the hardest decisions. Pardon me again. One of the hardest decisions that I've ever had to make was 6 months after my symptoms onset. When I was officially diagnosed, the first decision I had to make was which DMD or disease modifying drug I was going to take, if any at all. That was hard. It was hard indeed. And some people look at hard decisions as torture. And I look back at one of the toughest decisions that I've ever had to make as freedom once I made the decision. Instead of letting my mind trick me into staying in the same safe, familiar territory and keeping me from pursuing something more in life that would be beneficial to me so that I would live a better life, I looked at it as freedom. I didn't want to stay there and be scared. One of the songs in the movie South Pacific that kind of struck a nerve or hit home with me was "Some Enchanted Evening," one of probably the most popular songs or pieces, shall I say, in the film. And it's funny because some of the lyrics are "Some enchanted evening when you see a stranger." It goes on to say, "Some enchanted evening when you find your true love. Once you have found her, never let her go. Once you have found her, never let her go." Now, the lyrics are speaking of a stranger, and it says her. Never let her go. That stranger. Once you found her, never let her go. I kind of look at that as, man, that sounds like me. Sometimes I guess back then, 20 years ago, when I was diagnosed with MS, that was a stranger to me. I didn't know this person. Like, what was going on here? But now that I know how to manage myself, that stranger, I'm not letting her go. That is myself. So what I'm saying is that I'm not going to ever not be my own best advocate for my health, to manage my MS, so that I can live the best life that I can be, or probably that I can have. And I want to encourage each of you out there today who's listening to think of that. Think of ways that you can, ways that you recognize that you can be, I want to say, better to yourselves, or just really embrace who you are. Practice some acts of self-love. Treat yourself to something maybe. It doesn't have to be anything of great monetary value, but treat yourselves. Do something nice for yourself. I know that I felt like I was a stranger meeting, oh my gosh, this is Dawn Melanie, she has MS, but I know who Dawn Melanie is now, and I'm not going to let her go. So I want to have Dawn Melanie be the best Dawn Melanie that she can be, with or without MS. Again, having a stress-less existence. Not stress-free, but a stress-less existence, with or without MS. So I want to encourage you all to do that this week. That's my challenge to you all. Again, this is Dawn Melanie, and I thank you for listening this week, and I do hope that you listen to me, or join me, next week on my next series, my next program of Managing Self. Thank you again, and I hope you have a blessed week.